Divan consults Platos about receiving a blessing, and the divine serpent requests he bring a snakeskin, and so Divan hunts a snake with some of the village children, and a few days later Platos provides him with blessed leather. After he has recovered, he once more travels to the troll bog, hoping for a more successful hunt this time around. His journey is mostly uneventful, reaching the bog after a few days of travel. One night, his rest is interrupted by strange noises, which he follows and finds that they are being made by an injured giant. The giant, while not friendly, is not hostile, and they exchange words, giving Divan a general direction in which to go if he wishes to find the troll. Divan comes up with the brilliant troll hunting tactic of sloshing around in the swamp until the troll finds him. The strategy works, but the troll is a ferocious opponent, and it nearly tears Divan apart. Fortunately, Divan uses a potion to turn into mist, which allows him to escape the creature's fury. Once the confused troll leaves the scene of the battle, Divan leaves mist form and collects the copious amounts of troll blood that was spilled during the battle. The next morning, as he is breaking camp, he spots the troll approaching, and so he flees. However, the troll follows doggedly. The pursuit pushes Divan to the edge of his limit until fortune intervenes and he stumbles upon a family of giants who crushes the troll with a rock. Seeing the troll temporarily incapacitated, Divan moves in for the kill. He then begins butchering the dead troll as the giant family looks on. Divan waves goodbye to Brutus, his new giant friend, and heads home to Necrot. What will Atropos brew up with the troll blood? Will Divan befriend all giants? Will the troll rise again and seek vengeance? Let's find out now on Dicing with Death.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am good.
Huh?
Yeah. We've already had our pre-show, so...
Yeah, and we're half hour late, so I'm like 3/4 done with my coffee. Whoops. If you're watching the VODs, we're precisely on time.
We're always on time with the VODs because they can't not be on time.
Unless you forget to upload them to YouTube.
That's never happened.
Have I had a haircut between this session and the last session? I thought it was probably before last session. I might have just trimmed my face. But I did brave the pandemic to get a haircut. Right?
How'd it work?
I went to like one of those, like a chain place. And so you like make an appointment online and they tell you they've got an app that like tells you when to show up, and then you like meet someone at the door and they let you in, and like they've got every other station set up with like a shower curtain in between them. You wear a mask the whole time. So like I'm wearing headphones, so it looks fine, but like I've still got like a mullet over my ears. I'm just kidding. They like have to hold the mask at some point in the middle and they trim around. But...
I have been hearing that seems to be like the story people are telling each other here. That I've been hearing from people. It's like, yep, I went out and got my hair cut. Right. And that's like the thing.
I had been like 5 months without it. I got one like right before my wedding, and that was the last haircut I had. When I was younger, that might have worked, but like my hair's thinning on top, so it just like does the mad scientist thing, and it never gets longer right here.
Yeah, I hear you.
What have you just make Lauren shave your head, right?
Yeah, because I have also thinning problems, and my solution is just buzz the entire thing down, because if it comes out a little bit, then it gets too light in front, and then it just looks like really, how do you say it? It's the weird paradox where the longer it gets, the thinner it looks, so I just keep it buzzed low all the time and just don't worry about it.
our millennial viewers don't understand.
Not yet, you
But
don't.
in 20 years, when you're a boomer, go back and watch this VOD for our fashion advice.
Don't you mean our Zoomers? Because we're millennials, and the millennial viewers probably understand.
On Twitch, we're boomers, I think. Doesn't make any sense, but...
Well, that's because all the Zoomers think anyone older than them is a boomer, because fucking Zoomers, they don't actually have any brain cells.
No, we're millennials. Yeah. Zoomers, is that the new term? Is that like a quarantine term?
Generation Z.
Yeah.
You know, because we're supposed to be Generation Y, but then it got co-opted to be millennial instead.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next generation are Generation Z, and the Zoomer is to Generation Z as Boomer is to Baby Boomer.
Yeah.
And Zoom
gotcha.
out there. Anyway, enough of those. There was a little bit of troll hunting going down, I believe. And now you got a troll heart on a stick.
Troll has been hunted, and I ceremonially removed its heart through its rib cage, burned the rest of the troll, fed it to some giants that are going to have the weirdest diarrhea of their lives. And but fortunately, acid kills trolls, right? So
that's the thinking.
Surefire way to kill a troll for good is to eat it.
And
I now have the heart on
heart of a troll. Oh, and you needed that because Platos wanted to make you some healing potions, right?
Atropos, I think.
Atropos. Someone.
You want to troll blood. And I've got like some muddy teacups of troll blood, but I think this heart can make me like a troll blood fountain. So that's what I'm scheming up now.
Go. The black notebook.
Whoa, did you do that or did Lauren?
Lauren did this. I have her do additions on all of my notebooks. Whereas of Arcadia is
my notebook has no words. 'Tis only black.
Just filled with phone numbers? Is this Ryan's little black?
No, it is. I think it's actually more or less empty. What the hell? This isn't mine. It's filled with sourdough recipes.
What?
I thought this was. I have a black notebook somewhere. I thought this was my black notebook, so I put it on my D&D bookshelf. But apparently, this is Aaron's fermentation notebook.
I see.
Which I guess is about as witchy as random encounter tables, isn't it?
Yeah, they're definitely both a little spooky. I mean, you know, baking bread is sort of
funny. I expected to open that up and find like some weird random tables or like dungeon maps. And instead it is kombucha. So a battered and weary Devon made his way home as the sun is setting.
Yes. And
his little hut next to the spring in Krot.
When you get back to your little hut, you will find placed on one of your tables is a small collection of baked goods that are sitting here. Nothing too fancy because the capabilities of your people to create fancy food is pretty minimal. But someone has gone to the effort to like bake some croissants or some like croissant thing. I don't know.
It's flatbreads.
There maybe? We go. Yes,
maybe with some like olives in them.
What is Greek flatbread called?
I feel like you need to spend some time doing like culinary training to like.
True.
Right, or at least some reading about cold foods. You don't give a shit. You're just like, it's a fantasy world. If I want there to be mojitos, there's fucking mojitos.
Yeah, we're taking like different aspects of different cultures and mixing them into our own new pseudo cultures or something like that. Okay. It was like a pita pit with something sweet inside that someone's left you. There you go. Got some honey inside the pita bread. There you go.
Is this inside? Is this like my kitchen table inside my hut?
Yeah, but it's on like a nice little wooden tray. It looks like someone has left something here for you.
Well, we got to put a stop to this. Fire traps on all the doors. This just will not do.
People can't bring offerings and leave them in your house for you?
I'm mostly joking, but
Okay.
I probably need a secret wizard space where people can't just show up and leave me offerings of pita pits. That said, I will voraciously devour the pita and rest.
You can rest, and the next day will come.
Come morning, what is the state of the troll heart? I think it's
seemingly dead.
Yeah, desiccated.
Yeah,
spear
it's dried
to pop
out a little
my,
bit.
I don't know if it's on my spear point or if I put it on my dagger. Either way, I'm assuming that it will regrow from the heart. So I'm busy imagining devices that can like slowly like keep it from regenerating, or like deal damage to it as fast as it regenerates, to like keep it at the point that it needs to be. Is there
give me a concept of one of what these things might look like?
Well, these are in the early stages. We're not there yet. Okay. Is there like are there clocks and that sort of thing?
Definitely not.
No.
The closest you might get is a sundial, maybe in town, probably.
So like a mechanism with like a like a ratchet or like a wine, like something that like like a ratchet is not going to work. That like slowly drops a pointy thing into the heart and then like resets once a week, and not going to happen.
Well, I think
maybe with
you
magic
need to seek out some technology on that. You've got folklore, right? So you are aware that there is a diminutive race of sort of tinkering, engineering sorts of folks, gnomes, that live beyond the swamp. They travel around from village to village, town to town, kind of looking for work and looking to do stuff, but you've never seen them. They've never come this side of the swamp. But rumor has it these wee folk move in caravans and have an affinity for these sorts of things.
Yeah. That's not immediately necessary. If I'm not mistaken, I think it takes about a week for the heart for a troll to start regenerating from bits and pieces. So like if I'm doing my weekly chores and poking the troll heart until it loses an HP, then I think it can be fine.
Sure.
I want to don't worry, we'll eventually get to the trolls and build this blood clock, but I think a blood fountain will do for now. I want to go through I'll probably the next morning. Let me go ahead and roll for MP.
Oh yes,
I have advantage, right? Because I slept in my bed.
That sounds right.
6. All right, so I will go into the village or maybe around my stuff and see what I can find. The tokens of war, the bits and I don't know, the things that I took from Rome. What was it? Romulus? Remus? I believe I have a bronze shield that I took from them. And then probably just a bunch of spears, right? I didn't take a cool helmet.
Correct. As far as I remember.
Definitely have a shield. I think I'll go. Is the shield still in the town square?
You would have stacked everything in one area, and they would have left it all there. But it's like nice and neatly tight, packed. Last
we had discussed, like the spears were in the Necrot Square, and people were like borrowing them and training with them or something, but no one had like taken them. They were kind of just around.
Yeah.
So I'll go collect that brass shield and bring it back.
It is yours. You have it.
The helmet might be cool. If I see Remus again, might need to take his hat. My blood fountain. but for now I'll get to work on it myself. At least the concept. I don't know if it's I don't know how my stonemasons will feel about designing a troll blood fountain, but
it might be a little bit
see.
squeamish. You might have to explain to them the greater purpose you have in mind for it.
I don't know what's the greater purpose.
Well, why do you need the blood fountain? Make potions, right?
Infinite healing potions.
Ah, that's the sort of thing that they might get a kick on, that they might be interested in.
So I'm gonna putter around near the spring to find a suitable location. Is Platos around?
Of course he is. He's in his little shrine. However, as you approach him, you can see that there is one of the mothers in your village who has kneeled down before Platos and is making some sort of private prayer to him.
Yeah.
I need to display that, but that is now in Roll20 as a handout, so we don't have to looking it up.
Okay, cool. I will leave them be and sort of circle around my hut and around the fountain and sort of look around the hillside for a suitable place for a second little blood fountain. Or not a, like, for the blood fountain.
Well,
for a second spring next to the water spring.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be a suitable thing for Platos' shrine, but I don't know what the geography is like. I'm imagining built into the hillside, a safe distance away from the natural spring. So I think a shrine to the fall of the Romulans might be befitting for a fountain of blood. That's what I was thinking. One of their helmets might be kind of cool with like blood flowing out of it. But for now, I'll probably carve a crude mask and use the shield as a basin.
Okay. The shield's the basin. The mask is the heart will sit in the mask and the blood will flow.
Yeah. So I think as like a first thing, it'll be like there will be a little basin, which is the upturned bronze shield, and then there will be like a mask over it with the heart behind it and like blood flowing from the mask's eyes and mouth. We'll see if I can even get this troll heart to like continuously spew blood without turning into a troll. But one step at a time.
One step at a time. All right.
I think for now I'm looking around the hillside for a good spot to build this fountain. I don't know if it'll be like tucked behind my hut on the hillside next to the spring, but not to interfere with the spring. Alternately, like if there's a spot near Platos' hut, this seems like his cup of tea.
He is sort of into turning things into blood. That's kind
right.
of
Like I'm hoping that this will kill two birds with one stone and like satisfy Platos' affinity for rivers running red with blood.
Yeah.
While
it
at the
can
same
be done.
time providing troll blood. So what does the terrain look like?
Up at the north end of the what we call this the ravine where Necrot is, the canyon walls get a little bit steeper, so there's plenty of room if you want to like place it into a wall or a rise. You could like cut away at it and get a nice vertical surface that you could mount the mask on. Or did you want like the mask to be hanging directly above it?
No, the mask will be vertical.
Yeah, mask is like, vertical and down. Yeah. So it'll just take a little bit of excavation.
But basically, I want
a
small hillside to like build a little mini creek or a fountain area.
Yeah, you could stick it right behind Platos' hut. You could stick it on the side of his hut. You could stick it probably not in front of his hut. I think that's too close to water level.
There's a hillside with a spring coming out of it, and actually now it's probably getting built up with masonry to make it open it up and
and some timber has been brought, and there's a shaft going inward, and it's still mostly dry stuff, but the bottom of it is pretty wet.
And maybe there will be like a leveled, like a landing for people to walk up and get their water.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the east side of the spring, is that where my hut is and Platos' shrine?
Yep. Oh, I've been imagining it.
Is Platos' shrine like on my doorstep, or are they side by side? Are they some distance apart?
I think they're a little bit apart, maybe like 10 or 15 feet apart. So
Okay.
fairly close, but plenty of room to walk between them.
Which one is where? Is my hut close to the hillside and Platos is
your hut
downstream?
Is closer to the mouth of the stream a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would go Quanot, Devon hut, Platos shrine.
Okay.
On the east side.
Is there a hill behind all of this, or is there just a hill where the stream is?
Yeah, so it's like it's a rising hill throughout all of this, and so sometimes like your hut they'll cut down into the ground to give you like a flat surface on which your hut can rest. And so behind you, the hill rises, and to the east it gets a little more steep. So the east and the west side are the steeper sides, and the north and the south are the more gentle sides.
Okay, so so there is a little bit of hill behind Platos' hut.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's where I'll start building this. So I wait for the woman to leave.
Yeah, and she will. She's just making a quick prayer to something. And by the time you've circled the hut and found a good suitable spot, she has moved on with her day.
And just as with that gully north of Romulus, I will Devon will embark on some amateur landscaping. Less about the practical aspects of landscaping or the or even like the artistic nature of it, and more about the arcane, right? So it's about like arranging, like sculpting the hillside to encourage the flows of magic. I do have an arcanology proficiency, so it's more akin to like making a magic circle than it is like actually making a fountain.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm imagining the craftsmanship will wind up being crude and perhaps will be upgraded later.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more just like moving dirt to like get the flow of magic downhill just right.
Right.
So I spend some time, working on the hill behind Platos' hut. Maybe pokes his head out to see what's going on. Should I do like a non-proficient? Is there a landscaping proficiency, or do you need to rework your whole proficiency system?
We can add a landscaping proficiency.
I'm joking. I don't want a landscaping proficiency.
Okay.
I was poking fun. Clearly, I found a critical flaw in your proficiency system.
Clearly. So what check do you think is appropriate here? You're trying to make a magic circle, you said. So something probably in the arcanology.
So I could do my is arcanology about making magic circles, or is it just identifying them?
I think it's mostly like historical wizard knowledge.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find.
Maybe spellcraft or arcanology would work.
I want to read the description of arcanology, or we could do like a non-proficient type thing to look at like the artistic nature of it, even though that's not my priority. But arcanology. I don't think you have any. I mean, it could be like stonemasonry or something like that, or mining. But arcanology, the study of the history and development of magic, is termed arcanology. A character with expertise in this field is familiar with works of past wizards. Blah, blah, blah. Special magic items. Oh, you just copied this.
Yeah. That's just out of a book.
Yeah, okay. Because it's like making reference to Forgotten Realms and shit.
Yeah.
Can identify the general purpose and function of an ancient magical item. Doesn't help you identify modern magic. What does an arcanology proficiency do if you are the ancient magical wizard? If we are in the Age of Mist,
then it allows you to dictate how other people will view you in the future. It's reverse arcanology. It's what you'd call it.
Yeah. And spellcraft is like identifying current. It's like identifying spells being cast.
Right. There's definitely not a proficiency for the thing we're talking about here.
Yeah. I mean, so do you want to see how well I shape the hillside, or do you want to see how well like the magic is worked? If this is
I think they're
really that
two
magical.
separate things, and the probably more important one is how you shape the magic, and then the one that will
superficial
be more
one.
aesthetic. Yeah, the one that'll kind of influence your people more will be the aesthetic one. So why don't we do 2 separate checks? We could do stonemasonry.
Yeah, is that based on strength?
It is strength -2.
Will it be at half because I'm not proficient?
Yeah, I think that's
at half and then -2, or -2 and then half.
I think it's half
-2.
and then -2, right?
That's what we've done, but I almost feel like -2 and then half. Well, I don't know actually. So I'm rolling a d20 plus 5. My strength is 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. That's stonemasonry.
Even if you had done your whole 14, yeah.
14 minus 14 would have gotten me a 20.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
And then an 18 after that. Yeah.
So I excavate, and the hillside is unsound. I think I mean, it's just day one. I think I just like am not able to excavate the hillside, and maybe there's like minor landslides, and some dirt flows into Platos's little shrine. I have to shoot away.
Yeah. It's tough going making a blood shrine, you know. The more important check should be. I'll take arcanology or spellcraft for this.
I don't know if we're there yet, but I can go ahead and do it. Spellcraft is slightly better, but arcanology sounds cooler. Either way, I nail it. 19.
Yes.
So I'm getting the flows of magic. Maybe what's going on is like the magic is flowing in a way that doesn't match up with the geography of the hillside. So I'm like digging and trying to like get the like the arcane fields to flow the right way, but they're not matching up with the gravitational field in the spot. So like when I excavate now, it's like, well, here's where the fountain's supposed to go, but I've had to clear away the whole hillside, or at least this big chunk. So I'm struggling to like get everything to line up.
Yes, the two are not in alignment. Their chakras need to be sorted, or whatever the Greek version of chakra is.
One thing I need is probably a piece of wood at this point, or I guess I could work metal. I was originally thinking the shield would be the mask, but I think using the shield as a basin is probably better initially. Probably wood carving will be the easiest way to get started. Are there trees about?
There are trees around, yes. They're pretty small. They're not, great trees, but there are trees around. That'll be good enough for carving masks.
Right, small and gnarled is probably as appropriate for like a small mask, right? In fact, even like the bark, if it's really strong, might be okay, or probably better off with just like a solid chunk of wood. So maybe part of this arcanology is also wandering around the hillside looking for a suitably gnarled and arcane-looking tree to turn into a mask.
Well, we've talked about there being a lot of cypress trees in here, and there are some oaks and plane trees and poplars.
Cypress are pretty cool. I saw some ugly-ass cypress outside my window, actually. But I was in Hawaii. I went to a winery where they used to have a bunch of like old Italian cypresses out front, and then when they died, instead of just tearing them out, they like topped them and then had an artist come in and carve them into
cool.
like, they're called hula dancers. It's more like an artistic interpretation of a hula circle. So it's like it was this ring of cypress trees, and they died and like topped them and carved them. So now they're these like weird like swirly.
Awesome.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know, sort of akin to like totem poles, except each one is like a figure, or like a spiral or something like that. And but they're like their roots are still in the ground. So yeah, it's a really cool thing. Let me see. Maui. Oh yeah, totally found it. I can link you, or you can just image search. Just Maui Winery Hula Circle.
Winery Hula Circle. Oh. So they'll just like is a whole, at least in the image I'm seeing, like a front yard full of dead trees that have been whacked.
Yeah, it was like a ring of cypresses. Yeah. That's the winery behind it. It was like some historic house or something. Yeah. That's so cypress is cool. That said, I don't think it will be a whole tree that I transplant over here. More like a chunk of it, but
so you'll find a dead or dying tree, or just a suitable
just
tree,
a gnarly cypress, and
hack it down, bury part of it in the ground, and then carve the top of it.
Yeah, or it could just be like the mask portion built into the hillside. Or I could just dig up the whole tree and lug it over here and plant that in the ground.
Which do you think would be more suited to the flow of magic?
A whole tree might be better. But it wasn't here originally, right? I'm like digging up its roots and transplanting a whole cypress.
Yeah, transplanting a whole tree would be difficult. You'd probably kill it in the process unless you were very careful. But I don't think you're going to be using a living tree as a blood fountain. Somehow those two don't seem in alignment to me.
No, I wasn't even originally thinking there would be a whole tree, but now maybe that's the way to go. Either way, I think I'd probably dig up the whole tree just to drag it back here and carve. Can I find an axe in the village somewhere? Do my folks have an axe?
Yeah, so the man working on your Quanot has an axe and some tools for planing and carving and building.
Perfect. Is he around, or do I just find like a little tool shed that he's left behind?
I mean, you have given him money so that he is buying food so that he and his family can work full time on this. So they're importing food from the nearby town. So here he is working full time on your stuff.
That's a cool idea, Lotus. Make it like a carved staff that wraps around the heart, and the heart just pours it. Maybe it doesn't even need to be a mask. For some reason, I thought it'd be cool with blood spewing from eyes and a mouth, but maybe not necessary. And then there is this. I've got another spell that does use masks, so this would be
that's true
introduction into mask making.
So you can find Akitos. You can get whatever tools you need from him.
Yeah. Chat thinks I might have stolen Remus's helmet, but we'll wait and see what the consensus is.
It's possible. You might have taken one helmet. Someone should check the wiki.
Yeah. So I find Akitos and I say, can I borrow a few of your tools to go chop down a tree?
He graciously hands them over, of course. Anything for the defender of Necrot, savior of our people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll return them as soon as I'm done.
Okay. You can take the stuff. Go find yourself a tree.
And I'll chop off its extra branches and then work the roots out of the ground. maybe I like chop the roots so that it's just like the base of it.
Mm-hmm.
And hack it down till it's like 100-ish pounds so that I can drag it back.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to roll a lumberjacking check? I was looking to see what skill might be entailed with carving a tree. Is that fletching or is that carpentry?
Carpentry is what you're looking for. Bowery fletchery would be a specific subdivision of carpentry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should be like half my dex.
Yeah, if you don't
I thought carpentry used to be strength. Did you change it, or is it now dex? It's fine. Either way, it's the same check for me. But
I don't remember.
Is there a wood carving proficiency? I don't think there is.
Carpentry is supposed to be good. Yeah, carpentry was strength. Is it moved to dex now?
It is, yeah.
That seems to make more sense anyway.
I guess it depends.
Probably why we did it.
Either way, it's
right.
It's the same. Oh, and I whiff it. It's okay. It's the first time I've tried to carve anything.
Well, you didn't roll a 1. You rolled a 2. It's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can haul it over and you can start like planing it down and start trying to carve it, and it's clearly fairly amateurish.
Yeah, or maybe I cut off too much, and like the initial idea of this like huge cypress trunk with like the thing built into it doesn't wind up working. So I have to like keep carving it smaller and smaller. Maybe it does wind up being more of a staff or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think
we'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah, taken up with carpentry, blood shrines.
I'm thinking it may be a week. I mean, I've got a lot of HP to regain.
How much time do you have to regain? Or how much
HP?
How much time do you need to spend regaining HP?
Well, if I don't figure out a way to consume this troll blood, I need 18 HP. I'm down 18 HP.
Okay.
And I am out of blessed leather, so I'm still on the lookout for a cleric or something, some long-term solution.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can just keep feeding Platos snakes. Okay. I need a quick bathroom break. It seems a little early for a full-on break, so if you want, we can just do. I can be back in a minute. No, let's just take a full break
anyway, because there's some coffee I need to pick up.
Okay.
Fine. All right. Yep. We'll be back on the other side of the break. Bye-bye.
All right.